Gemini, the sign of minds that move like light across the sky, the sign of curiosity that never sleeps, the sign that carries two souls inside one body, both whispering, both alive, both searching for the next question that will open another door inside the universe. People often think they already understand Gemini. They say Gemini is quick, unpredictable, talkative, restless, impossible to read. They say Gemini lives in duality, that their heart and mind move too fast for anyone to catch. But the truth, as always, is deeper than the surface. Because not all Geminis are the same, and not all winds blow with the same rhythm. The month in which a Gemini is born, May or June, shapes the texture of their thoughts, the way they love, the way they breathe through change, the way they carry their many inner worlds. One sign, two seasons, two energies that move differently but share the same shimmering essence. When you look at a Gemini born in May, you feel a quiet breeze, thoughtful and observant. Their mind carries a steady rhythm, like pages turning one by one inside a calm library of ideas. But when you meet a Gemini born in June, you feel a gust of air warm from the sunlight, bright, lively, spontaneous, touching everything with curiosity that burns and dances. And yet, beneath these differences, both hold the same ancient fire of Mercury, the planet of thought and movement, the messenger between heaven and earth. So today, we journey into the two faces of Gemini, not to divide them, but to understand them, to see the deeper layers behind their words, their silences, their laughter, their hesitation, their hunger for truth. Stay until the end, because somewhere in this exploration, you may see yourself reflected in ways you never expected. Or perhaps you'll finally understand someone whose soul has always felt like a moving breeze, impossible to hold, but unforgettable in its touch. When a Gemini sets their sights on something, the world around them shifts. But the way they move toward their goals depends strongly on their birth month. For those born in May, there is a gentle strategy behind their ambition. They like to understand the full map before they walk the path. Their mind is like a puzzle master arranging pieces quietly, watching patterns form long before anyone else notices the picture taking shape. They observe people, situations, consequences. They listen more than they speak, and when they finally speak, every word has a place, a reason, a purpose. Their steps are deliberate, patient, grounded even when their mind moves swiftly. They may not rush, but they arrive exactly where they intend to. It is the kind of ambition that grows steadily, layer after layer, until one day they stand before their dreams with a calm confidence that seems almost effortless. But the Gemini born in June does not wait for a full map. They create one as they go. Their movement is fast, their ideas change direction easily, and their courage often pushes them into places others never dare to step. When they want something, they feel it like a spark running through their veins. They jump into new paths, trusting they will land on their feet. And somehow they do. Their success often comes from boldness, from intuition, from the ability to see possibilities before they fully exist. They chase goals with energy that feels alive, messy, exciting, and yes, sometimes impulsive. But that impulsiveness is part of their charm, a willingness to experience life fully, not in theory, but in motion. They inspire others by showing that movement itself can be a form of wisdom. Gemini's creativity is one of the most beautiful things about them, a bridge between thought and expression. But the form it takes shifts depending on the time they are born. The Gemini of May creates from observation, from reflection, from layers of meaning stored quietly inside their mind. Their ideas come from connecting subtle details, from noticing what others overlook, from turning small insights into something thoughtful and deep. Their creativity has structure, like a carefully built poem, like a melody that grows from silence. They prefer refining, shaping, adding depth, bringing clarity to things that seemed chaotic before. The Gemini of June carries creativity like lightning. It arrives suddenly, brightly, without warning. Their mind pulls ideas from thin air, combining things no one ever thought to combine. They are drawn to color, to movement, to immediate expression. Their creativity is joy, exploration, expansion. They don't fear mistakes, they fear boredom. And because of this, their ideas can feel alive, unpredictable, bold. They make others wonder how a mind can move so fast and still find beauty in every detour. When it comes to emotions, Gemini has always been misunderstood. People think they feel lightly, or that their emotions change too quickly to be real. But in truth, Gemini feels deeply, just differently. And the month of birth shapes the way these feelings appear on the surface. The Gemini of May feels first and thinks immediately after. Not to escape the feeling, but to understand it. They analyze their emotions the way some people analyze dreams. Gently, quietly, carefully. They don't show their feelings right away because they need time to translate the waves inside them into words they can trust. Silence is not coldness for them. It is processing. It is safety. It is truth forming slowly. And once they open their heart, their words are honest, measured, full of a sincerity that comes from understanding themselves deeply. Meanwhile, the Gemini of June lets emotions spill out like sunlight breaking through clouds. They speak before they filter. They express before they organize. Their emotional world moves fast, rising and falling, but always returning to a place of brightness. When they are sad, it shows. When they are excited, the whole room feels it. When they're hurt, they may react sharply, but they also heal quickly because their heart prefers movement over stagnation. They need to express to understand. They talk to feel. And this makes them emotionally clear, sometimes too clear for those who hide their own feelings more easily. In love, the story becomes even more interesting. Gemini loves with their mind first, their spirit second, and their body third. But the way this unfolds changes with the month. The Gemini born in May approaches love with caution. They observe before they open their heart. They want to know who they're dealing with, what the other person truly values, what lies beneath the surface. Trust must be earned, slowly, gently, through consistency. Words matter, yes, but actions matter more. When they love with loyalty that is almost surprising, with quiet devotion that feels like a warm hand resting over yours. They don't demand your entire world. They just want a meaningful connection, a shared language, a safe space where both can breathe. The Gemini of June loves like a spark catching fire. They fall quickly, passionately, drawn to energy and chemistry. Their affection is direct, playful, expressive. They show love in movement, in laughter, in spontaneous plans, in curiosity about every detail of your life. But they also need freedom, not because they want distance, but because their heart suffocates in stillness. They need a partner who moves with them, who listens to their ever-changing thoughts, who appreciates the color and chaos they bring. When they love with brightness, with presence, with a fire that warms everything around them. When life changes, and life always changes, Gemini adapts. But the way each type of Gemini adapts has its own rhythm. The Gemini born in May needs time. Change, for them, is something to understand, not something to rush into. They take the pieces of their world that have shifted and arrange them quietly, making sense of what remains and what must be released. Their adaptation is thoughtful, deliberate. They bend without breaking, adjust without losing themselves. And when they finally decide how to move forward, their path becomes clear, steady, and surprisingly strong. The Gemini born in June moves through change like the wind through open windows, quickly, instinctively, almost joyfully. They see transformation as opportunity, as adventure, as a fresh start. Even when change hurts, they find ways to rise again, to reinvent, to shift their perspective until the storm becomes something meaningful. Their adaptability is one of their greatest strengths. They don't cling to what was, they focus on what could be. And that ability makes them resilient in ways others envy. Communication is Gemini's elemental gift, words shaped like light, thoughts shaped like motion. But the style differs deeply between May and June. The Gemini born in May communicates with care. They choose words like a painter choosing colors, aware that each one can shape the entire picture. They listen deeply, speak thoughtfully, and express themselves with a kind of calm clarity that makes others feel understood. Their presence is gentle but intelligent, soft but precise. They do not speak to dominate. They speak to connect. The Gemini born in June communicates with sparkle. Their voice carries emotion, humor, excitement. Their words flow freely, bouncing between topics with surprising coherence. They can speak to anyone, anywhere, about anything. Conversation is not just a tool for them. It is joy. It is movement. It is energy. Their communication style draws people in, creating instant comfort and warmth. Yet, beneath the spontaneity, their intuition reads people quickly, accurately, almost effortlessly. Gemini's energy is unmistakable, and the contrast between May and June is beautiful in its diversity. The Gemini born in May has a calmer presence. They feel grounded, thoughtful, quietly intelligent. Their energy doesn't rush, it invites. They stand out not because they are loud, but because they are deeply observant and emotionally perceptive. People remember the way they made them feel understood, accepted, seen. The Gemini born in June has an energy that fills the room as soon as they enter. They are bright, charismatic, dynamic. Their presence brings movement, laughter, ideas flowing like rivers. People are drawn to them because they make life feel alive, colorful, full of possibilities. They are unforgettable not because they speak loudly, but because their spirit shines boldly. And yet, whether in May or June, Gemini remains one of the most enchanting energies of the zodiac, a sign that reminds us that thought can be art, that movement can be healing, that curiosity can be a form of love, and that the human soul is never limited to one version of itself. Inside every Gemini, there is a child who asks questions, a philosopher who seeks truth, a storyteller who weaves worlds, and a wanderer who chases possibilities across the sky. Their duality is not confusion, it is richness. Their inconsistency is not flaw, it is freedom. Their quick thoughts are not avoidance, they are exploration. No matter the month, Gemini's true magic lies in their ability to transform themselves again and again, learning from each version they become. Now pause for a moment. Think about the Gemini you know, or think about yourself. Do you feel the quieter strength of May within you, the thoughtful breeze that carries meaning beneath every word? Or do you feel the radiant spark of June, the lively wind that touches everything with color and curiosity? Or perhaps, somewhere inside, you feel both, two winds moving in harmony, shaping a soul that was never meant to be simple, never meant to be still. Every Gemini carries a truth inside them that few people ever bother to look at closely. The truth that their heart is always searching for ideas that excite them, for people who understand them, for places that feel like possibility rather than limitation. And when you look closely enough, you realize that both the May Gemini and the June Gemini are driven by this same longing, but they express it in ways that paint two very different pictures of the same constellation. There is something beautifully tender about the Gemini born in May, something patient and observant. They do not reveal their multiple layers all at once. Instead, they open like a book whose pages you discover slowly, each chapter filled with thoughts carefully organized, each feeling processed with intention. To love a Gemini born in May is to learn that silence does not mean distance, that thoughtfulness can be a kind of affection, that reflection can be a form of emotional honesty. Their internal world is deep, not loud. Their storms are quiet, but meaningful. And sometimes, the most profound storms are the quietest ones. In contrast, the Gemini born in June does not open like a book. They open like a window catching the morning breeze. Their spirit moves fast. Their thoughts leap from one idea to another. Their laughter fills space with warmth. To love them is to witness someone who lives with a heart that refuses to be caged. They express feelings in ways that light up rooms, conversations, even entire seasons of your life. They are not afraid to tell you what they want, what they dream of, what scares them, what excites them. Their transparency is disarming in a world where people hide behind masks. There is sweetness in that honesty, a rare kind of courage hidden behind their quick smiles and bright eyes. When you walk through life with a Gemini, any Gemini, you learn a great deal about impermanence. Not the cold kind that abandons, but the gentle kind that teaches you how to evolve. You begin to understand that changing your mind is not weakness, it is growth. That curiosity is not distraction, it is awareness. That wanting new things does not mean discarding old ones. It simply means expanding the soul to hold more than what others consider possible. For the Gemini born in May, this evolution happens quietly. They gather knowledge piece by piece, experience by experience, and let each one settle before they transform it into wisdom. They are collectors of meaning. They take the fragments of life others overlook and arrange them into something beautiful, something stable, something that lasts. Their growth is like watching a seed become a tree, not dramatic, not loud, but strong, patient, inevitable. People often misunderstand them, thinking they are slow to move, slow to change. But the truth is that they change deeply, not superficially, and that depth requires time. The Gemini born in June evolves through motion. They grow through the conversations they have, the emotions they feel, the people they meet, the chaos they embrace. Their path is not linear. It spirals, it branches, it loops. But every twist teaches them something vital. Their wisdom is born in movement, not stillness. They are like rivers changing shape as they flow, carving new paths, creating new landscapes with each shift. Others may call them inconsistent, but inconsistency is only a flaw to those who fear change. To Gemini of June, change is breath. When it comes to friendship, no sign brings more lightness and life into the connections they build. Yet the flavor of that connection differs beautifully between May and June. The Gemini of May is the friend who listens with intention, who remembers small details, who offers insight that settles your heart. They create a steady bond, quiet but reliable, light but meaningful. They may not initiate constant conversations, but when they show up fully. Their presence is grounding, a reminder that even air signs can hold space with surprising stability. The Gemini of June is the friend who turns ordinary moments into memories. They bring spontaneity, humor, excitement. They pull you out of your comfort zone and remind you that life is not meant to be only understood, it is meant to be lived. They introduce you to new ideas, new experiences, new versions of yourself. Their presence is uplifting, like a breeze that carries laughter into a room that had forgotten how to breathe. And yet, both May and June Gemini share one trait that defines their friendships more than any other. They connect with minds before they connect with faces. They are drawn to the spark in someone's thoughts, the rhythm in someone's voice, the curiosity in someone's eyes. They do not care for superficial bonds. They crave conversation that leads somewhere, even if that somewhere is only a deeper understanding of each other. Their friendships often last not because they are always present, but because they are profoundly memorable. There is also a sacred tenderness in the way Gemini handles heartbreak. People assume that Gemini recovers quickly, that they move on before the memories fade, that they detach easily. But beneath the surface lies a truth few see clearly. A Gemini does not break in one piece. They break in fragments. The emotional, the intellectual, the nostalgic, the idealistic. Each fragment heals at its own pace. And depending on their birth month, the healing takes a different form. The Gemini born in May internalizes heartbreak. They replay conversations silently, analyze the turning points, question themselves gently but deeply. They heal in private, in moments of stillness, in reflections that help them rebuild their inner world. They do not rush the process. They take time to understand why things ended, what they felt, what they learned. Their healing becomes wisdom they carry into their next chapter, quiet, honest, lasting. The Gemini born in June heals through motion. They talk, they cry, they laugh, they fill their days with energy to keep the emptiness from echoing. They reach toward life as if life itself can stitch their heart back together. And strangely, it does. They recover not by looking backward, but by moving forward, by rediscovering joy, by rewriting their story through new experiences. They forgive faster than they forget, but eventually, they do both, because holding on weighs more than letting go. Gemini's way of seeing the world is one of their greatest gifts. They notice things others overlook. A shift in tone, a silence in a room, a pattern in someone's behavior, a truth hidden beneath a story. They catch it instantly. But again, the way this perception shows itself differs between the two birth months. The Gemini born in May sees with analysis. They detect patterns. They recognize emotional nuances. They listen between the lines. Their understanding of people comes from observation, not assumption. And because of this, they often see the truth long before anyone admits it. The Gemini born in June sees with intuition. They sense the mood. They feel the shift. They read energy the way others read words. Their emotional radar is almost psychic at times, allowing them to respond to the world not with calculation, but with instinct. Their intuition reveals truths faster than logic ever could. People often forget that Gemini's symbol is not two random figures. It is twins. It is duality. It is balance between minds, between worlds, between the inner and the outer self. And the beauty of understanding Gemini through the lens of May and June is realizing that duality exists not only inside individuals, but across the entire sign. May carries the quiet twin. June carries the bright twin. May carries the thinker. June carries the explorer. May carries reflection. June carries movement. May carries depth. June carries color. Together, they form the complete spectrum of Gemini's magic. When you understand this, everything starts making sense. Their shifts, their contradictions, their complexity. It is not that Gemini is inconsistent. It is that Gemini is full of possibilities, full of ideas, full of worlds waiting to be born. They think in layers, feel in patterns, and move through life with a heart that refuses to be ordinary. And maybe that is what makes them so unforgettable. They are the breeze that changes your day, the thought that lingers in your mind, the conversation you replay at night, the person who makes you question things you thought you already knew. They stretch your vision. They open your heart. They challenge your assumptions. They show you new ways to see yourself. So now, ask yourself gently, when you look at the Gemini in your life, whether that Gemini is someone you love, someone you lost, someone you're still trying to understand, or someone living inside your own skin, what do you see? Do you see the quiet rhythm of May, the thoughtful breeze that moves slowly but deeply? Or do you see the bright momentum of June, the wind that carries color and warmth everywhere it goes? Do their shifts confuse you, or do they inspire you? And if you are a Gemini, where do you find yourself in this reflection? In the steady mind that loves meaning? In the lively spirit that loves motion? In the calm voice that speaks softly? In the quick laughter that fills the air? Or, perhaps, you find yourself in both, because the truth is that no Gemini belongs entirely to one side. Even the calmest May Gemini has a spark inside them that glows like June. Even the brightest June Gemini has a depth inside them that feels like May. You are not here to be simple. You are not here to be easily understood. You are here to explore, to transform, to expand, to think, to feel, to speak, to move, to become. You are the wind that learns from its own direction. You are the question that leads to another question. You are the story that rewrites itself beautifully over time. Whether you were born under the early sun of May or the warm skies of June, Gemini lives in you as a reminder that life is not meant to be lived in one version. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to shift. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to keep becoming. And that is your greatest gift. So now I want to hear from you. Are you a May Gemini with thoughtful winds that move quietly through your world? Or are you a June Gemini whose bright spirit colors every path you walk? Or do you see pieces of both living inside you, blending into something uniquely your own? Tell me your story in the comments. Someone out there may see themselves in you and finally feel understood.